So we said that the whole point of the night is to bring mochin to Am Yisrael. That the matzah is called lechem emunah, the bread of emunah, which means everything about this night is about elevating ourselves in a supernatural sense to a very, very deep awareness and connection with Hashem. And we said that in order to have that connection, we need to become consciously aware. We need to become consciously aware. And that consciousness in Kabbalah is called mochin. Mochin. There's mochin de gadlut, there's mochin de katnut, there's when a person is in a constricted state of consciousness, when a person is in an expanded state of consciousness. And that what that basically means is that when a person is in a mochin de katnut, in a constricted state of consciousness, then that they're perceiving the world in an external sense, that the world seems very, very, very real and has power. And that is what kind of oftentimes emotionally affects us. If you think about all the times that you were experienced any type of pain or suffering, it probably had to do something in the world. And that's called mochin de katnut. And so what we want to do is to be able to see the true reality of nature and to understand that the world is not an independent entity, but that the infinite light of Hashem is creating and sustaining and projecting this reality into existence at all times. That's called mochin de gadlut. That's called mochin de gadlut. So, okay. So we have different characters kind of in the story, Kabbalistically speaking. We have the Shechina, basically the collective neshama of all of Am Yisrael. We call that the Malchut. And she is basically the life force, the mother of creation. And it is what is powering all of us and everything in existence. And she is receiving that energy in order to be able to convert that infinite light in finite ways. So it doesn't matter, every man, every woman, every child, every tree, every bird, every stone, everyone is receiving just the right amount of energy that they need. The Malchut does not have anything of herself, leit la migrama klum, and she needs to receive the energy in order to be able to convert that and give life to the world. So she receives it from the Father, okay? The Father, Kabbalistically speaking, is what we call Zer Anpin or Za, okay? Now, for Za to be a mashpia, Za needs mochin, okay? Basically, everything about the Seder night is about bringing all this divine energy, this shefa, this conscious awareness into the Malchut, because that's really essentially what we all want. What does Geula mean? Geula means that when all of humanity is able to be consciously aware and to perceive the infinite light of Hashem. On Passover night, we're eating matzah and we're drinking wine, and that's the energy. It's kind of, you think about the metaphysical manifestation of consciousness that is being projected within the wine and within the matzah. Okay, we have mochin of Abba, and where do we get the mochin of Abba from? We get that from the matzah. Okay. And so we have 3 different places that we eat the matzah. Want to sit on that side? We have 3 different places that we eat the matzah. Okay? When we're taking the matzah, we say motzi. We say matzah. And then we do korech. Okay? The mochin of Abba comes from the matzah that we eat. After we finish the Haggadah, okay, then we wash our hands and then we go to actually eat the matzah. And so we have 3 matzahs. One is, there's the top matzah. Okay. There's the top matzah. There's a little there's a little matzah that we broke earlier, which is like supposed to be the daled, and then we have the third matzah. Okay? So we have 3 matzahs on the Seder plate, okay? We take all 3 matzahs and we make a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Okay? So when we say hamotzi, when we say hamotzi, that is when we are channeling the first level of Abba, which is called, I'll do it in black, is Chokhmah. It's the Chokhmah of Abba. It's the initial, it's like the initial and the highest level of Chokhmah. So we're bringing down this light from top to bottom. So if you guys are familiar with the Sefirot, the first Sefirah is Chokhmah. So we're only working with Abba now, so it's the Chokhmah of Abba. The matzah, and then after we make that bracha, then we drop the bottom matzah, and then we have this top matzah, and then the middle matzah, and then we make another bracha. We say, Asher Kedeshanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu al achilat matzah, and when we make that bracha, we're channeling in the bina of Abba. The bina of Abba. So we're bringing down this light another level. And then we eat the matzah. And then we do the maror. And then after the maror, then we take another kazait, another 30 grams of matzah, and we do the sandwich with the lettuce. That's called korech. And so that's going to be dat, which there are 2 aspects of. There's called chasadim of dat, or das. And then you have the gvuras of das. Ashkenazi friendly thing. What? Chasadim of das. The das, what is the das? It's the cheseds of das. If you think about that, your mind has to connect with your body. And so you want the energy coming from the Chokhmah and Bina to affect all of the emotions with the aspect of love. So Chasadim of Dat is bringing love into the body, connecting the mind in all the different aspects that a person can experience love. Where Gvuras of Das is all the way that a person can experience the emotion of fear or awe. And that's the flip side. There's chasadim and of gvurot. So these are it's really essentially the 4 aspects of the mind that is connected to Abba that we're bringing the mochim. So what is the meditation that a person needs to contemplate, to meditate on when he is saying each one of these things? So there's the Kabbalistic meditation, the classical Kabbalistic meditation, and then there's the more Hasidic and psychological aspects of hitbonenut that a person can contemplate while he's doing each one of these things. So the classical Kabbalistic Shem, the name that one should meditate on when he's saying the name of Hashem. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. That's going to be Shem Ab. Okay? And then the Shem of Bina is going to be Sag. And then the Chasadim of Das and the Gvuras of Das is going to be Ma, and then Ben again.
When do you think of Ma and Ban? When you're saying it?
So this is the classical Kabbalistic meditation. Then after Abba, so this is the matzah. We're bringing mochin to the Shechina, to Am Yisrael, this emunah of Abba when we're eating the matzah. The matzah is the direct perception of God. It's experiencing God from God's perspective. Okay? It's perceiving reality from God's perspective. But when we perceive reality from our perspective, that's called mochin of IMA. That's called mochin of IMA. Where do we get the mochin of IMA from? That's kind of self-perspective. That's the self-awareness. When In Hasidic texts, they say Yesh mi she'ohev. This is going to be Yesh, and this is Ein. How do you translate Yesh? Something. There is, and this is Ein. What is Ein? Nothing. Okay? So this is in a state of something, meaning I am aware, I'm self-aware that I exist, the world exists, and that Hashem is kind of like hiding behind the scenes. Whereas the level of Abba is the level of Ein, that's the level where nothing exists. And it's actually only Hashem. And that is so this would be kind of almost like Mimala, and this would be Sovev. Yeah. Right. So we have IMA, and so this is going to come from where? This is coming from the wine. So how many cups of wine do we have? We have 4 cups of wine. Cup number 1 is actually right off the bat. It's called Kadesh. Okay, Kadesh, and then that is parallel to the Chokhmah. And then after Kadesh, that's the first cup. When we're making the Kiddush, that's when we're saying that's when we're tapping into the Chokhmah of Ima. And then after the first cup, we have the second when we go through the Haggadah. And at the end of the Haggadah, so the end of Magid, Magid is the symbol for Haggadah. And then we drink the second cup at the end of that, which is Bina. And then we have cup number 3, which is the very, very, very end of the meal when we say Birkat Hamazon. So that's Barech. And then we have number 4. 4th cup is after Birkat Hamazon. Then we say Hallel. And then when we finish the Hallel, we make a bracha. Depends on Ashkenazi Sephardi, but you guys make a bracha. You make a bracha on the 4th cup, and that is after Hallel. Okay? So just like there were 4 aspects, Chokhmah, Bina, the Chasadim of the Das, and then the Gvuras of the Das of Abba, so too there's the 4 aspects of the Ima, which is the Chokhmah, Bina, Chasadim of Das, and you have the Gvuros of Das. Can you guys see this? Is this too low or is that okay? So Kabbalistically speaking, what is the name? What is the energy that I want to be channeling through these things? So it's the same. So Chokhmah is going to be Shem Ab. Bina is going to be Shem Sag. Chasadim is going to be Shem Ma. Sorry, I wanted to color code that. The Ramak says it's important to have the colors.
And then Ab and Ma are the same in some capacity?
Oh, sorry. Sag. Sag is green. Okay.
Is there a reason why Ab and Ma are the same colors?
They really shouldn't be. I should have purple here, but that's what I got.
I'm saying these are the actual colors that relate to the names.
Okay.
Blue, green.
Well,
purple, red.
It should be like a purple talent. So these are the names. These are really code names. If you don't know about the names yet, then B'ezrat Hashem. This is I pre-warned everybody. This is going to be an advanced class. So if not, then we'll fill in the blanks. If you have like any basic questions, just please write them down, and we'll do that at the end. So first cup is Chokhmah Ab. Second cup is at the end of the Haggadah, which is Bina Sag. Third cup is Barech, which is the Chasadim of Da'as, which is the Ma, and then Hallel is the Gvuras of Da'as, which is Ben. So if we were all Sephardic Kabbalists here, that's pretty much all we would need, at least like at level 1 of Kavanas. But since we want to take it to a new level, and this is really about not just affecting what's happening in the supernal worlds, but we also want to affect what's happening inside of us as well. The Geula is about bringing the light down into the world, and so we have to understand which each of these 4 levels are. So I tried to make it as simple as possible. I cannot tell you how much energy went into literally summing up these different things, okay? And so if we started Kadesh, this is like the order of how we're going to start. Kadesh, the meditation while we're making the Kiddush, okay? So you may or may not, meditate on the name, but what is super important is that the Chokhmah, it would be wise to think of Hashem is the soul of the world. Okay? What's the meditation on the first cup? Hashem is the soul of the world. Okay? Again, we're in IMA Consciousness, which means I'm kind of from the outside looking in. I see the world. Okay? I can't, kid myself and pretend that I'm not in. I'm not living in this simulation, this program, this projection, whatever you want to call it. There is a world, but I have to reinforce. I must condition my mind with the emunah that the world is not an independent entity. The world is not an independent entity, but that there is a life force that is directing and wheeling all of existence into. All of reality into existence at every moment. Okay? Hashem, amen. Hashem is the soul of the world. The Gemara says, just like the soul fills the body, so does the Kadosh Baruch Hu fill the world. Okay? So what does that mean? Let's try an exercise. Okay? Everybody put their hands in the air. Okay? Now put your hand down. Now put your hand in the air again. Now put your hand down. Okay. Now I want you to look over to the next person, and I want you to do this. I want you to watch him putting the hand in the air. Put your hand in the air. Watch somebody else putting their hand in the air. Put your hand down. Great. What did you just see? What did you just see? If you were just looking, right, visually speaking, what did you just see? You just saw a hand flying up in the air, right? But you know that hand is not its own independent existence. What put the hand in the air? The will of the person. Someone put their hand in the air, right? The hand just doesn't move. That means if the soul leaves the body, if there is no more life energy in the body, then hand is not going anywhere. It does not have any energy of itself. And so by seeing the hand move, the movement of the hand, you are automatically aware that there is someone that is moving the hand, that it is animating the body, right? So you know that there's a person inside the body that's moving it. So too, take it to the macrocosmic level that you have to look at the world as the body of God.
Including the animals, the people, everything.
Everything in creation, inanimate objects, vegetables, animals, people, every star, every stone, every bird, every tree, everything is, so to speak, the body of Hashem, and the Shem is the life force. So just like I'm putting my hand in the air and there's movement there, so you know someone is moving it, so too you see the movement in the world. You see that the world is alive and there's a life force, there's a life energy in that world. What is that? That's Hashem. That's the infinite light. So that's an indirect perception, okay, of becoming aware of Hashem. So if you ever go to like one of these conferences or like debates where there's like, the atheist versus the religious guy, what will the religious guy always use as one of his tactics to prove the belief in a God? Okay? It's exactly this, right? How can you see that there's movement and everything is so orderly and the world works in a very, very beautiful fashion that's giving testimony to God? You don't see God, but I see the world. And the Baal Shem Tov says, well, when you're looking at the world, you're looking at God. And so you don't have to see God. The mashal and the Tanya is that what does it matter if you're hugging the king, whether he's wearing 10,000 garments, right, or you're hugging just himself? What? Or he's naked, right? Little difference, right? But it doesn't matter. You're still hugging the king, right? So when you're looking at the world, what do I care if God is naked or God is dressing in the world? It's still God. So Hashem is the soul of the world. That is a very, very simple meditation to have while you're making the first cup of wine, which is the Kadesh. Okay? And then the second cup of wine is the Bina. That is, now it's focusing more on the details of the world, and particularly speaking, me. Okay? Me. So the Bina is that I am a unique expression of Hashem. Okay? So what's the second cup meditation is that, yes, Hashem fills the world. It's the neshama of the world. But then I want to take a look at myself and say, well, wait a second. If Hashem is like the life force of the world, like that means like Hashem is like my life force too. And like, so, whoa, okay? That's Bina, right? It's self-perception because it's IMA, but it's like, whoa, Hashem is my life force. Hashem is willing me into existence because Hashem wants me to exist. Hashem needs me to exist just the way that I am. Okay? So I am unique expression. And then the third cup, which is finally at the end, again, it's out of order, but just to get the two basic mechanisms down, then we'll do it in order. The third cup, which is Barech, which is going to come at the very, very end, Birkat HaMazon, okay, which has to do with Chasadim of the Das. The meditation for that is Hashem always loves me. Okay? That's the meditation for the third cup. Hashem always loves me. That's the Chasadim of Dat. It's Hashem's love for me that is coming in. And so, Kemaim hapanim lapanim is also a very, very powerful Torah. The Tanya brings it, but the root is in Shlomo HaMelech, that in Sefer Mishlei. Kemaim hapanim lapanim ken lev ha'adam la'adam. Just like the water is, just like the face is reflected in the water, so too a person's love, when expressed for another person, awakens their love back to me. It's a reciprocated love. So when I love someone in a very, very real and deep way, then that will awaken love for me as well. So if I meditate that Hashem always loves me, kemaim hapanim lapanim, then that will awaken also a love within me. That's the third cup. Fourth cup is kind of the opposite of that. If Hashem always loves me, now I need to be very, very, very strong. Okay, and this is where the yira, where the shmira comes in. Is that if Hashem always loves me, what do I want to try and do? I will always love Hashem. It's getting hard to write down here. Okay.
Why would the mucker of that be in the verse?
Because that's the Kabbalah's ol. The Kabbalah's ol is that I don't want to do anything to sever my relationship with Hashem. It's fear, but we're flipping it to the positive aspect of it. I thought that maybe the meditation should be, I will always protect my relationship with Hashem. I always protect my Shem. There's an important psychological mechanism to always kind of put things in the positive way. But this is essentially, it's Kabbalah's ol. It's like, that's I don't want to do anything that will conceal that Shem or damage that love. Well, the meditation is that I want to always love Hashem. And I'm phrasing it like this because...
Instead of saying fear.
Because that's what I'm doing. What?
Instead of using the word fear.
Yeah, because what am I fear? I mean, if I was like a regular rabbi and we weren't in Sfat, if we were like in... where this is being recorded. If we were in another place, then I would say yes, it's the fear of Hashem and that I don't want to do anything that I should, mess up any of the mitzvahs of the laws or anything. I want to fulfill every single detail, iota of Shulchan Aruch. And I don't want to get punished for it, right? But that's not that's not the Baal Shem Tov kind of style of looking at things.
That's a lower level of fear.
It's a lower level of fear, right? But the whole night is about godless. The whole night is about what do I really want to have. And so I'm afraid to forget. Okay? I'm afraid to forget about Hashem. Shiviti havaya lenegdi tamid, that I always want to stay in that constant state of awareness, even though I may not feel like it, even though I want to stay in bed, even though I don't feel like getting to Seder on time, even though it might be hard or uncomfortable or, whatever. Because I still have the nefesh be'amid, but I want to always love Hashem, and so that's going to give me the discipline to always want to continue. Then we get to the Matzahs. So the Matzahs is mochin de'aba, which is now from the perspective of Hashem. From the perspective of Hashem. This was kind of my perspective. Bina is the yesh, but I now is Abba, and so this is really where the transcendent magic of the Matzah really is. It's a mamish, the divine revelation of Hashem's reality, sovev, and when a person comes to that experience, whether conscious or unconscious, it has a profound effect on his psyche. Okay, so from top, we'll go from bottom up. So the Gvuras of Das, you know what, fine. We'll start from the top. Chochmah, okay, which is the ultimate revelation, the godless of Abba, is basically the experience, the knowing, which is not something that we can actually know just yet, but the fact that there is only Hashem. Ein od milvado. Now, we don't really understand how powerful those four words are. We don't really understand that. When there is only Hashem, meaning there is nothing other than the infinite light of Hashem. That's the ultimate true reality. That's the sovev. That is the ultimate emunah that the Jewish people have been given to. The rest of the world, the Tzemach Tzedek brings us in Derech Mitzvotek, which is very powerful, that the rest of the world, when they call emunah, what do they call emunah? They call mimale. That's their emunah. The mimale is their emunah, that there is a Shem in the world, but there is a world. And the sovev, which is the higher transcendent emunah that Israel has, is that, so if you really, really want to get down to it, there is only Hashem. That's the chokhmah. The bina, I'll just go quickly through and then we'll get to the questions. The bina of Abba, which they go together because we're eating both of these together, the motzi and the matzah, both of these together. The flip side of that is that there is, what do I say? I wanted to say there is no world, but fine. There is, but that's not really true. I want to say there is no world, but that's not true because, what do you see, right? So it would be more proper to say the world is an illusion. Illusion. Okay? Again, from Hashem's perspective, we don't exist. From Hashem's perspective, we're totally batel in the mitziut. There's the etzem elokus. It's the more of a shemish, the light of the sun while it's still in the sun itself. Okay, and this is like very, very deep, already Kabbalistic, Hasidic kind of philosophy. But nonetheless, one of the fundamentals of the Hasidic system is that from Hashem's perspective, we don't exist. There is only Hashem. There is only Hashem. Now, that's why you need the matzah, because I already see the brain starting to, what you talking about, Rabbi? That's why you need the matzah, okay? Now, don't expect to just completely poof, blow away into like stardust, okay, when you're eating the matzah. But I promise you that when a person eats the matzah and has this in mind, it will have such a deep and profound effect on your consciousness. This is literally imprinting this belief into your psyche when you eat the matzah.
Into the goof as well. No?
Huh?
Into the goof.
Into the goof, fine, into the goof, because the soul is in the goof. But again, it is this truth that no one in reality wants. Nobody wants this, because everybody wants to be. Everybody wants to be. And so here it's totally negating the reality of the world, again, from Hashem's perspective. Hashem wants the world to exist, which is why we need this, okay? Which is why there's the dynamic, states of consciousness. That I could say there is no world, and so basically, you know what? So screw everything. I'm just going to live on top of a mountain, or or Sfat. But the point is, no. Yes, this is true. But Hashem still has created this illusion, and Hashem wants us to take it very, very seriously. That we have to do. There's a old word from, I think it's the Rebbe from Kotsk. He says that everything in this world we have to learn from. And one of his students asked him one time, says, Rabbi, what can we learn from heretics and atheists? He says, we have to also learn from atheists as well. He says, what can we possibly learn from atheists? He says, well, when you see a fellow Jew in need, you have to believe at that moment there is no God and only I can help that person. That's where you have to have kind of that split second of atheism to believe, because somebody could say, right, you're driving down the road and you see somebody stop on the sides, okay, somebody else will help him, right, as you keep driving away. But in this sense, no, you have to believe in that moment, there is no God. There is no one else in the world that is able to help that person except for me. So we need this in order to keep us grounded in the world, in order to do the work that Hashem has asked us to do, to build for Him a dwelling place in this world, in this illusion. Okay? But at the same time, I absolutely need this in order so that the world, the illusion, I can remove its stranglehold over me. Because the ultimate Mitzrayim, the ultimate servitude, the ultimate imprisonment is when I'm a slave to this world and everything in it. Whether it's money, whether it's your iPhone, whether it's your taivas, whether it's your fears, whether it's your limiting beliefs, whatever that is, the ultimate Mitzrayim is that I think there actually is a world. And therefore I'm giving it some type of authority, some type of energy, and that's basically idolatry. That's idolatry. And so it is the kind of cosmic balance between these two states of perception. Okay? Hold on with the questions, we're just going to finish this. So Chokhmah is there is only Hashem. The Bina is the world is an illusion, meaning from Hashem's perspective, we don't exist. Okay? The world is an illusion, i.e. we don't exist. There is only Hashem. Chasadim of Dat, which is going to be the Korech, these two will come together. That from Hashem's perspective, Hashem's love is infinite. Okay? Meditating on the infinite love that is Hashem. But first, Hashem has infinite love. How much? Hashem wants to love you. Okay? He hasn't created you, but He wants to love you. How much does Hashem want to love you? Infinite. How much love does Hashem have? Infinite love. So now He's got that infinite love. Can He love you in an infinite way? No. You know why? You couldn't take it, okay? You couldn't take it. So so that's why we need the gvuras of the das. What is the gvuras of the das? The meditation for that is that Hashem must hold back
is love.
Okay? That's the essence. That's the Gvura. Gvura is when the child is like scared because he's like just taking off the training wheels and he's like, Dad, don't leave me. And like he's wobbly and the dad knows he's just going to eat it and he's going to scrape up his knee and he's going to be really, really hurt, right? But dad has to hold back. He has to let him kind of have his own experience. And so Hashem must hold back his love for us. But you're making the bracha, but then you have to eat the matzah. When you remember, that's when that energy is coming in. It's kind of like you're channeling that energy, that it's coming like you're drawing it into the reservoir, and then you can, right, you're bringing it to the warehouse, and then you can send it out to all like the different stores.
So you eat it right away, that's Hoffman being at the same time?
Correct.
Not that's the sandwich.
The sandwich is the das, right? The sandwich is the das. So it's these two. This is really like the ikar of the Seder. This is like the culmination that the books say is that when you're eating the matzah, you're literally like rewiring your entire consciousness and imprinting this reality into your psyche. And when you do that, it releases the enslavement from the world. Okay, then you can operate in the world without being affected by it. So it's like these come together and then these come together, right? Because you're only eating you're eating two kazait together here. You have to have a kazait again because you're eating a portion of this top matzah, which is like it's the motzi, which is the ab, which is the chokhmah, and then the dalid, which is the sag, which is the and you're eating a kazait from there. So you're eating two kazites at the same time. Remember to lean on your left. Yeah. So these come together. Ab and Sag come together. And that's why Ab and Sag, we said that yesterday. What is Ab and Sag? Ab and Sag is 72 plus 65 equals 135, which is the same gematria as matzah. Okay?
So it makes sense with the matzah as representative of this because like it's not leavened, and any sort of bread that's leavened is representative of like egos. This is trying to say that
right.
It's total oneness from the perspective of Hashem. But with the wine, is there anything kind of symbolic within the wine that's trying to rep this?